We're just a few hours away from learning President-elect Trump's sentence in his New York hush money case after his conviction last May. Mr. Trump, who was convicted on 34 felony counts, was unsuccessful in his request to the Supreme Court to delay the proceeding. With just 10 days before he's inaugurated for a second term, the president-elect will be the first convicted felon to be sworn into office. NewsNation's Alicia Nieves has more from New York. Alicia, Mr. Trump continues to make history.
Yeah, certainly here, Nick. Mr. Trump, the president-elect, becoming the first U.S. president back in May to be convicted of a crime, and now today looking to be sentenced on those felony convictions. Trump, of course, and his team have been really trying to delay this sentencing, and they were successful, right? Last July is when the initial sentencing date was scheduled, but where they were able to push it back to just after the election. And then this past week, he's been throwing some Hail Marys, if you will. His final Hail Mary was the Supreme Court. Pleading to them. He pleaded with this highest court in the land on the basis that his presidential immunity, right, that it applies to him as a president-elect. In a 5-4 decision, though, the Supreme Court not seeing it that way. They released that decision late last night. Chief Justice John Roberts and Justice Amy Coney Barrett, both conservative justices, actually sided with liberal judges to deny Trump's request, assuring that Trump's status as the first felon to assume the presidency. That's going to happen in likely 10 days from now. The justices really emphasize the lenient sentence that has already been kind of floated around by the judge, writing, quote, "The burden that sentencing will impose on the president-elect responsibilities is relatively insubstantial in light of the trial court's stated intent to impose a sentence of unconditional discharge after a brief virtual hearing." And just yesterday, another kind of Hail Mary that Trump had threw out this past week, his legal team, an appeal at the New York State Supreme Court, that proved to be fruitless, the court denying the delay request there. So now, just days, as you noted, before the president-elect takes office, the sentencing is going to be moving forward. The judge in this case, in his decision just a few weeks ago to not dismiss the case and to proceed with sentencing, said that it's really in everyone's best interest to do so. He said, quote, "Finding no legal impediment to sentencing and recognizing that presidential immunity will likely attach once the defendant takes his oath of office, it's incumbent upon the court to set this matter down for the imposition of sentencing prior to January 20th, 2025. It is the court's firm belief that only by bringing finality to this matter will all parties of interest be served." So sentencing set to take place this morning, Nick, but Trump himself got the news just minutes after it came out late yesterday. And I want to play you what he kind of said in response to the highest court in the land denying his request to delay sentencing.
But we're going to appeal anyway, just psychologically, because, frankly, it's a disgrace. It's a judge that shouldn't have been on the case. He's a highly conflicted judge, and they called for an appeal. So I read it, and I thought it was a fair decision, actually. So I'll do my little thing tomorrow. They can have fun with their political opponent.
Yeah, so this morning at about 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, Trump set to face this sentencing, if you will. It's going to be more of a formality because, as I noted, the unconditional discharge the judge is likely to sentence Trump going to come with really no penalties, no fine, and no criminal, no jail time as well, Nick.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.